The Supreme Court has given states permission to ban transgender athletes from girls' sports, but it stopped short of requiring them to. And that's a big distinction here in Minnesota and in other places where trans kids are included in sports. But a lot of people are wondering if that kind of patchwork will last. Here's Kent.
In the Supreme Court's majority opinion issued this morning, Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote, "We hold that the states may maintain women's and girls' sports for biological females." And while the ruling applies directly to two cases in West Virginia and Idaho, it has immediate impact across 27 states with similar bans. But
the court did not say that in this case that a ban is mandatory or that states could never allow this to happen. So, for instance, Minnesota and other more left-leaning states can make those decisions the opposite way if they would like to.
University of Minnesota professor and Supreme Court scholar Tim Johnson says Minnesota's inclusive policy for transgender athletes in girls' sports, in place since 2016, is stronger than most because the Minnesota Human Rights Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender identity.
States can always give more rights than the federal government would provide through the Constitution, but couldn't give fewer.
We can continue to treat our transgender athletes and youth with dignity and humanity and respect, and we'll continue to do that. Like nothing will change there.
Though despite the governor's words today, the decision does open the door to more political and legal challenges.
If the court were to rule that there is an equal protection violation against biological women, then they could suggest that in fact states must ban this across the country. And that case is certainly one that the justices will probably take in the coming terms.
True North Legal, which is based in Minnesota but represented the Idaho lawmaker behind the state's ban, said in a statement, quote, "Today's ruling is clear. Sex in Title IX is intended to create opportunities reserved for girls based on their biology, not one's preferred identity. Minnesota now has the green light to protect women's and girls' sports and can no longer hide behind legal fallacies."
Make no mistake that even here in Minnesota, where we support our trans athletes, this ruling will have some chilling effect.
Hannah Edwards is the mother of a trans kid and executive director of Transforming Families, which offers support across the state. She says transgender athletes are already taking themselves out of competition, including a state champion softball player who endured public criticism last year.
You take someone who's been practicing since she was 8 years old, and her team loved her and she supported her team. She's no longer safe. It doesn't feel good playing, and that's because of this rhetoric that is happening.
A group called Female Athletes United has already challenged Minnesota's inclusive sports policy in court. In April, a federal appeals court denied an injunction that would have put an immediate stop to the policy, but the case itself has yet to be completely decided.